So here's my Instapot, and Dr. Greger says I am supposed to have 3 servings of beans a day, and I have a really hard time doing that. But one thing that I love is hummus. So today I'm trying to make my own hummus using my Instant Pot. So I got myself some chickpeas and I washed them. I did not soak them, although you can pre-soak them if you want. Those big things there are big clumps of garlic. And then I added a little bit of chopped bay leaves. Some people add whole bay leaves and then take them out. You can also add onions that way. I'm adding a little bit of salt. And I don't think I'm going to add the onions today. I might see how it tastes, and then next time maybe peel some onions, put them in there, and actually, you know, blend the onions with the beans and see how that tastes, because I really like onions. I love onions. So that's kind of what it looks like right there. And real easy. I'm gonna stick that on there. There we go. And make sure that it's on seal, which it is. The vent does that, or the pot does that when you turn it on. So I'm gonna hit, let's see, gonna hit pressure cook, and then I'm gonna go to beans, and then I'm gonna press the button here. Can you guys see that? All right, it's on 40, but the recipe online told me 50. So I'm gonna try 50, I think. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit start. So now it's gonna preheat, and then we'll see the countdown once the pressure gets all the way up to where it's supposed to be. And then I'll come back later and show you what it looks like and the ingredients that I add to my blender later on. So one of the ingredients for hummus, just to let you know, is tahini. And here is my jar of sesame seeds, because tahini is basically made out of sesame seeds and a little bit of salt and olive oil. So, hold on. Where did oh, here it is. It's actually out here already. So here is a jar of tahini I made the other day, and I will make a video the next time I make some. I just didn't have a chance to do that. But all I did was take some seeds and brown them, some sesame seeds. That's what they look like there. And I browned them in a frying pan, so they were just lightly toasted. Then I put them in the blender or processor until they were like powder. And then I added a tiny bit of salt and olive oil, and eventually, let's go ahead and, sorry about that, I got this. So I will be using this for, you know, I don't have one of those really high schmancy fancy processors yet, so mine's a little thicker, but you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. And I'm going to use this tahini to make my hummus later. So we will come back in a little bit when those beans are done, and I'll show you how I make it. So this is what my chickpeas / garbanzo beans looks like when I'm done. Filling up my blender. Added some hot water because I didn't have a lot of sauce left in here. I didn't add enough water probably. But if I check them and I squish them, they're nice and soft. So I think 50 minutes in my Instant Pot was about perfect. So now I'm going to find the lid. Oh, there it is. On here. And I'm going to blend them, and I'll be back. So I went ahead and I blended these, about half the pot. And I'll get a spatula here. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's pretty thick. So what I'll probably do is add a little bit more water and see how there's still pieces here. If you have a processor, you can make this as, you know, lumpy or as thin as you want, but I'm going to add a little bit more water and maybe a little bit of olive oil and blend it again. And then I'm going to add some more of my chickpeas, and then I cut up a couple of cloves of garlic and put them in lemon juice, and I will add those as well. I might have to do 2 pots or 2 blenderfuls and put them in a container and then mix them, because didn't realize that I had that many beans, and I want to mix them and blend them while they're still hot. So after I get all of that done, then we'll add some of my homemade tahini and see how it tastes. Okay, so I added some more water, a little bit of olive oil, and blended it again. As you can see, it's a lot smoother, more like what you see at the store. So it really just depends on the consistency that you want, and you can add more or less water or olive oil to get the consistency that you want. But now we're going to go ahead and put the lemon juice and the fresh garlic in there, and we will go ahead and blend it again and see what the consistency is there. Next time, I think what I'll do, since it's the first time making the beans in my Instant Pot, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more water, so I have some of the flavor of the beans, that water left over, and that's what I'm going to use to mix it instead of just some hot water from my tap. So here we are with the final product. This is the second half of it, and I put the rest of the garbanzo beans in it, and it actually looks really good, and I love the consistency of this. It's like, I think it's just like the way I like it, really smooth. So what I did was I had a big container like this. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then I did the rest of them, and I wanted to see what it tasted like. So I put about 1/4 cup of my homemade tahini in there and mixed it up, and it tasted fantastic. I really liked it, much better than store-bought. So I figured I would put the rest of it in there, which was about 1/2 cup altogether. That way when I mix it with the other stuff, it would be the same ratio of tahini to hummus. So I'm going to pour this into my big bowl and mix it up and see what it tastes like, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is how big my pot is. I had to actually move it from that bowl into a bigger pot just so I could stir it. I had 2 blenderfuls full of the chickpeas, and I used maybe 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a couple tablespoons, maybe 2 of lemon juice, a little pinch of some kosher salt. Apparently you're supposed to use sea salt, but I don't have that. And the little bags of the chickpeas seemed like there weren't really a lot of them at all, but apparently there was a whole bunch, so I'm going to be a little more careful next time. I definitely do not need to make this much at a time. I took the cooked garlic and I just blended it right in. The higher processor or blender you have, you know, the more smooth it'll be. And obviously I have a ton here, but I used about 1/2 cup tahini altogether, and I think that was really good for this amount. But I will try to make a smaller amount next time. However, I have these really cool bowls I just got from the dollar store, and so I'm going to go ahead and freeze it. There are a ton of different ways you can serve hummus. I am going to probably take some of it and mix it with some beets and blend it with beets, and maybe serve it with some pomegranates as a garnish on top. Another one I might add some cilantro and mint to, and maybe garnish it with the sprouts right there that I am currently growing. Right? And other ones I'll probably use, maybe garnish with pine nuts, or I'll make one that has a little bit more garlic on the top and sprinkle it with paprika. There are a million ways to make your hummus, but this definitely tastes different than the store-bought. The store-bought has like a little bit of a, I don't know, like an aftertaste to it, almost like, I don't want to say vinegar, but something that's pretty strong. I'm not sure what it is. And this has no aftertaste whatsoever, and I really like it. And the tahini really gives it a nice, rich flavor. So hopefully this might inspire you to make your own. And eventually I'll be making my own tahini again, and I'll make a video on that as well. But right now, I'm just going to take the plain hummus and go ahead and freeze it. Hope that inspired you. It's my whole food thought for the day. Hummus. Woohoo!